Hello, 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 beautiful people. I'm going to be making a tree out of the book, different from the tree I made last year. So you need a hardcover book. I got this one at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take the paper cover off. Then I have my cutting tool. And I'm going to go down the seam of my book. And then I'm going to go to the back of the book and again go down the seam. And you want to make sure you cut this really well. So I'm going to try and cut right about here. And of course I dropped my cutter. So I'm going to go down right here between right there. That's how I'll get it undone. So go down the entire seam and cut your book. I enjoy making things that are cost effective. I like making new things for my home every year. It's a lot cheaper than buying things, and right now I'm on a kick of books and what I can make with books. So if you have leftover books from when you were little or your children were little, make sure you make something out of it because it's recycled. Now there we go. Now, this book has, I'm going to take some of these off because they came off. The book has about 289 pages. I took out quite a few, so it'll be a little less than that, the 200 and some. So, here is the binding on your book. I'm going to leave that on for now and see how that works out. So basically, I'm going to fold the page down, just like this. And if your pages come undone and you don't want them to, to leave your book, you can always tape them with hot glue, or glue them or tape them. And then I'm going to fold into a point right here, just like this. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to get my hot glue gun and glue this to reinforce it so that I don't lose my page, and then I'm going to continue to fold the pages. So I'm going to show you again. Take your page and fold it as far as it'll go into a point. And then I'm going to fold it again right here. And I'm going to continue to do this while I watch TV. This is very relaxing. It takes a lot of time, but it is very relaxing. So I'll be back as soon as I get all my pages folded. I want to show you on just a couple pieces of paper on how I fold it. So it might be easier to see it this way. I'm just doing it in case you didn't understand how I showed you. So you want the point at the top, and you take this as close as you can to the side, just like this. Then you fold it again. Oh my goodness. You want the point just like this. See how I have that? You want it in kind of a cone shape. This piece shouldn't be sticking out, so I'm going to fold that in. But this is how it should look, just like this. So I'm going to do it one more time. So the next page, you want it as close as possible to the corner of the page, and then you do it again in a cone shape, just like this. And that's what it's supposed to look like. You're going to have these extra flaps. We're going to cut these off. But I just wanted to show you how to fold them. So you want the point at the top for the tray. When you have the entire book folded into your tree, you want it to stand up straight and not have a problem. So you're going to cut off these ends. So you just want to go down the line you have and cut off the pieces, the triangle. And then when you're done cutting off all of the triangles, you're going to want to get hot glue and glue the seam and the book so it'll be round. So I'm going to get to cutting off the triangles right here, and then I'm going to glue this all together, and I'll show you what to do next. This is how your tree is going to look. So it'll lay flat and it looks just like a tree, and I glued it so that it goes all the way around. Now this is where it becomes a little tricky but fun. You want to go between the pages that you folded and cut up pretty far. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I dropped it. So you just want to cut in between the two pages that you have together. I suggest you cut to about where the letters start, where you see the letters, right about this area where it's white. So I would cut up there, and when you're done that, come back and we'll work on the next part. Okay, now that you have all the pages cut, you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to start cutting downward, and you can take the pieces out. As you cut, you can cut upwards. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to cut it and take pieces out and cut all around different shapes. You can cut downward or upward. You just want to start cutting it apart to make the branches. So what I'm doing is, see, I'm cutting it, and I'm going to take some pieces out. And what I mean by that is, if I cut upward on this piece, let me get just this one piece, cut upward and then cut again, and I'm taking the piece out. The piece comes right out, and you're going to continually do that around your tree, taking pieces out and cutting it. And you're just going to do that around the entire tree, and when you're done, when I'm done, I will definitely come back and show you what it looks like. But I'm just cutting the pieces out to make it look rustic, shabby chic. No rhyme or reason to it. The pieces will fall off. You can pull them off if they're, if they're bothering you. So I'm going to go around and start cutting pieces that's on the top and the bottom. And then I'll be back to show you what it looks like before we go to the next part. So basically what I'm doing is you're getting a page or a couple pages and cutting triangles in it, pulling it off. Also, I am wisping it out by cutting up and down and trying to go as far up to the tippy top as I can with my scissors. So you're just trying to, they don't have to be equal amounts of the triangles you're cutting out. You just want to wisp it out and just keep cutting. And if pages fall out, it's okay. You just want to cut and not have every page the same. And I'm putting wispies in there by cutting down or up and trying to get towards the top. And that's all I'm doing to the whole entire book. And then you fluff it up. But we'll get to the fluffy up part in a bit. Okay, so I cut and cut and cut my tree. I cut upwards with scissors and cut little chunks out. I also went downstairs and got a tea bag and put some warm water on it. And I'm going to pat it on my tree. And then I'm going to, while it's wet, once I'm done making it all brown from the tea bag, you can do this with coffee also, I'm going to rough up the pages. And when I do it, I'm not going to do it gently. I'm going to do it with a lot of force. If I lose pages, that's fine. So, as I'm doing down here, I'm going to rough it up with the tea bag, give it some color, and squunch it up. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Just going to move the pages around, and anywhere I see some spots that are white, I'm going to rough them up and give it some definition. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And I'm going to keep adding some of my tea bag onto it, but I wanted to show you what I'm doing. I'm actually pushing up to move the pages around. And I'm doing it firmly. So if bits and pieces come off, that's fine. So I'll be back to show you what it looks like. But basically, I am just puffing it up. So I'll be back. Here's what my tree looks like right now. I fluffed up and pushed in all over, pushed it up. I also used tea on the tree to make the tree look vintage, and I have celery Waverly paint, and I have this wispy brush that I just want to not do, I'm dry brushing. I don't want to do the entire tree. I just want to give it a little bit of color for more definition. So I am just putting some green paint over top of the brown to give it a little bit more definition. You could add glitter or paint the whole thing a certain color. I don't want to take away from where I put the tea. I just want to add a little bit of color. I might do another green also, but all I'm doing is brushing it on. It's still a little wet from when I put the tea and the water on. So I have just a little bit of green on there, and I'm thinking I want to add some of my Moss Waverly chalk paint also. Same thing, shake it up, and I'm going to only use a little bit, and I'm going to start kind of at the bottom to give it some definition. But I also want the brown to come through, because I really like the brown. I think it makes it look vintage, and the green gives it a little bit of more color to the tree. I think this was a fun craft to make. It took pretty much all day for me to make this, between folding the pages, cutting the pages. The best part was putting the tea on it and scrunching up the page. So I could sit here and mess with this tree all day, because I think this is a fun craft. Gives you something to do. It reminds me of when I was growing up, when I was younger. We would make decorations out of paper, out of magazines. I think it was more so that I would be out of people's hair. You know, gave us something to do, and then we would display it and bring it out year after year. And what you could do is, if your children are helping you make this, you could put the year and the date on one of the pages on the bottom. So that's it for this tree. Thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you again next time. I just want to bring you in and show you all the definition. Bye.